Next up, Megalith. Megalith is getting a new support wave in what is Doom of Dimension, right? That's the same set for this as well. Yeah, this is all Doom of Dimension. Megalith, more ritual support, I guess. I don't have that much connection with Megalith either. I think I've played it in NNR Festival in Master Duel, where it seemed fun. I mean, I am a fan of ritual summoning. I like that mechanic. So let's see what we have. We have Megalith Hulock, Earth Rock, level 4. You can ritual summon this card with any Megalith card. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. You cannot activate the first and second effect in the same chain. If this card is ritual summoned, you can add a Megalith card from your graveyard to your hand. During the main phase quick effect, you can ritual summon a Megalith ritual from your graveyard, except itself, by tributing monsters from hand or field whose total level equal or exceed the level of that monster. Remind me real quick. I feel like, now that I'm reading this, I felt like one of Megalith's gimmicks was that they don't have ritual spells, they summon each other with monster effects. Is that true? I feel like that rings a bell. Don't they all just ritual summon each other? Yes, okay. So here's the thing. This feels like they have one quick play that ritual summons, but okay, but for the most part, that's what they do, right? They ritual summon each other. I feel like I remember that. This card seems fine. It feels like this might be an angle where I call this card just okay, and some people tell me, no, this is actually exactly what Megalith needed, because it adds cards back from graveyard and ritual summons from graveyard. But to be honest, I feel like this isn't the craziest thing in the world, where that's just the nature of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that cards that add cards back from the graveyard or summon cards from the graveyard, usually that is not the main priority of what makes a card good, because that is stuff that's mostly useful for follow-up and for like certain resource loops, which is not important, but it's not the most important thing for a card. Like, usually when a card only does that one thing, it's usually more like a one-off type thing that you search at some point to get your cards back, right? Like, usually those sort of effects are fine. Maybe the big deal about this card is the fact that it ritual summons on your opponent's turn. I don't know how often they have that in Megalith. I don't know if that's a big deal in Megalith, because I think they have one. Don't they have one big one that just pops a bunch of stuff when it's summoned? Like, is it Bether that does that? So maybe that's the neat part. But yeah, it seems okay. Then we have Megalith Nortra Fulra. Earth Rock Ritual is big, 37. You can ritual summon this card with any Megalith card. It must be ritual summoned using only ritual monsters. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Megalith ritual monsters effects for the rest of this turn. Oh. Generally, not a fan of these sort of uninteractable things. Now, I will say, I think not being able to respond to the effects is not the same level of cringe as, like, completely unaffected, like, let's say, Sangan Summoning or the Gimmick Puppet Field spell. But it still gives me those kind of vibes, where, like, you know, maybe it's just like, okay, well, they need this because otherwise this deck just completely dies to Ash Blossom or something, right? So, like, you need to stop that. And for the most part, a lot of stuff, like, not being able to respond to something can be outplayed in Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of the time. Like, this is way better than unaffected. Unaffected is, I think, the worst type of uninteractability. Yeah. So maybe it depends how the deck actually plays, but like maybe this is okay. This is still very powerful. Yeah, but like the goal is not for the cards to be bad. The goal is more for the cards to, because I'm thinking like, let's say Tenpai had this, right? Let's say Tenpai Sangan Summoning said, instead of unaffected in main phase 1, it just said your opponent can't respond to your Tenpais, right? It would be so much easier to interact with Tenpai in the main phase, right? You can still Veiler the Chundra when they try to go into the battle phase, and then they are forced to go like into the Biden Dragon to bring it back or whatever. And if you have like a second Veiler or an Imperm or whatever, then you can just Imperm it again and then the turn ends, right? It's like, but like otherwise, let's say you have like 2 Imperms, Nibiru and whatnot. If they activate Sangan Summoning, you die. You still die. I don't know. Not really. What do you mean not really? What about my example was not correct there? If you have 2 Imperms, 2 Imperm still does. Okay, 2 Imperm specifically works in battle phase as well, but if it's Imperm Veiler, no. Let's say you have Imperm Veiler, which is a relatively common pairing of non-engine, and then they have a Sangan Summoning, right? If you have Imperm Veiler, you're dead. If you have Imperm Veiler versus Sangan Summoning, you die. You can burst with Sangan Summoning on field. What does burst mean? Meteor burst? What's the point of me? I don't understand. Imperm only works if they don't make Transcendent in main phase. Well, you can prevent that with in the world where I'm talking in a world where Sangan Summoning has this effect. Because then you can just Imperm the Transcendent before they go battle phase. How do you deal with the revived Chundra? Can't they just chain it? We're talking past each other, I think. But in this example where you can use Imperm or Veiler in main phase 1, if they go Pydra and Chundra and have Sangan Summoning, you just Veiler the Chundra in main phase 1, which means that they cannot kill you through Imperm. I don't think it is it's that hard to understand. What do they make to play through the Imperm if they have a negated Chundra and a Pydra? They can't play through it because you can just Imperm the whatever level 7 they make. It does not work. And if they in main phase go for Biden Dragon to bring back the Chundra to like, because you can't respond to it, right? That's the example. You can't respond with Imperm to the Biden, but then they go battle phase, and then you Imperm the Chundra anyways, and they can't synchro because it's 2 tuners. But yeah, I was just in my head, all of this, it's a lot of yapping right now just to figure out that I think this is a lot more healthy than unaffected. But yeah, whatever. It's a different deck anyways. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then if that effect targeted a card on the field, you contribute a monster your opponent controls. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's healthier than Sangan Summoning, but I still can't bring myself to like the design of this card in particular. Because it's just like, it's can't respond to stuff. Omni negate on your end with a bonus as well, right? Like we've talked about, it's crazy how we've talked about this one, and I'm like, yeah, okay, it's a negate, but it's very, very specific. Monsters and only on the field. And then they give me this on the next page, right? And it's like, okay, this negates everything, destroys it, and has a bonus for some reason, right? To be fair, I think it's hard to find a card that's less healthy than said. That's also a good point. Only because it is healthier than Sangan Summoning does not mean it is healthy at all. That's not what I was trying to say. I'm just trying to draw comparisons to see how bad it really is. So it's not that bad, but you are right. The bar is very high for a card to be more toxic than Sangan Summoning. Yeah. The only thing that I could see here for why this second effect would ever be considered okay is because Megaliths are currently completely ass. And this is a level 12, and I don't know how easy it is to summon. Because from the cards I have seen so far, and from the cards I remember, I believe they still have to match levels. I don't know if they have a way to cheat it, quote unquote, right? Because this card also says you can only use ritual monsters for it. So even if they had, let's say they had a main deck monster, or like there's another monster that says you can treat it as the entire tribute, it doesn't work on this thing. It has to be a ritual monster. So I don't know if there's easy ways to summon it. But on its own, it is a very good card. Megalith Anastasis. Continuous spell. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can discard a card, add a level 4 or lower, and a level 8 or higher Megalith monster from your deck to your hand. Ooh, okay. Continuous card that searches 2 cards every turn, a small one and a big one. Once per turn, if you ritual summon a Megalith monster, you can activate one of these effects. But you can only use each effects once per turn. You can draw 2 cards, then discard a card, or you can tribute a monster your opponent controls. Okay, this card's very good. This card seems custom. This card, even though it might not look as fancy as like the Omni Negate and uninteractable stuff, I feel like this is the real reason why this wave might be interesting. Because it's a consistency card, which I think is huge for ritual decks. Not only that, on the first one, you're not going plus, right? You're going discard 1, add 2, but it's a continuous card, so it's also absurd follow-up. Plus, it's card advantage once you ritual summon, because you draw 2, then discard 1. Plus, it gives you board clear and interruption on the opponent's turn, because they have quick effect ritual summoning. So you can tribute a monster on your opponent's turn. So this card, I think, is very good. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is not even a 1-card starter. That might be a Megalith issue, though. I don't know. I don't know. But I feel like if the deck cannot combo after adding 1 level 4 or lower and 1 level 8 or higher from deck to hand, then it's just like a terrible deck. If that's the case. But the card itself is crazy. Right? But yeah, maybe it's not. maybe this but if the deck if this does not combo, then basically it means Megalith has no 1-card combos and probably not even many 2-card combos. Then maybe Megalith is just not a good archetype. Or maybe there's a world where you can still play it even if it is less dependent on 1-card combos, because I do think that is something that with modern Yu-Gi-Oh sometimes I don't like the fact that people dismiss decks only because they don't have enough 1-card combos or whatever, right? Like, I don't know. Of course, a lot of modern Yu-Gi-Oh is about being able to consistently play, and 1-card combos help you with that. But in a universe where you don't need to play 20 hand traps to deal with the meta decks, it's completely okay for certain decks to be more engine heavy and mostly rely on 2-card combos. I mean, it's not that long ago that decks like Unchained were meta, which didn't really rely on 1-card combos. Like, they played Tour Guide and that was basically it, right? There's a lot of other decks that have like maybe a 1-card combo, but most the other stuff is 2-card. Like, yeah, Mermail is an example right now, even though it's not the most healthy deck. But like, you have Neptibus, that's your 1-card combo. Mathematically, the deck shouldn't work off of that. If that's your only measurement of like, hey, how many 1-card combos does this deck have? Like, Mermail basically has 3. Maybe 4 if you play 1-for-1. Maybe some more if you play Diva. But like, for the most part, it's 2-card combos. Like, you want to draw like Dragoons plus a way to discard it. You want to draw Shadow Squad plus a way to discard it. Whatever, those kind of things, right? But yeah. This card is a call. Yeah, I mean, this card is going to make the deck terribly weak to Ghost Ogre as well, because this is like the Ghost Ogre target. If they've ever made a card that wants to be Ghost Ogred, this is the one. Like, they discard one, you get rid of that thing. That's crazy, dude. But yeah. Solid cards for Megalith. The question is it enough? Which I don't know the answer to it, because I haven't really messed around with Megalith at all. This could be huge for NR format if they are commons.